What is going on, guys? The Inside the Booth podcast, and today we're talking about the New York Yankees, a little bit of a recap, and also some trade deadline talk. We got some huge rumors around the MLB, but so far, it's starting to get better, it feels like, for the New York Yankees. They are now on a 4-game win streak. They just defeated the Mariners. They swept them. They didn't have a great series against the New York Mets, but this series against the Mariners was huge because now they're 2 games back of the AL East, and the Yankees need to get back to that first place and start piling up some wins. And this win streak, it feels like life is coming back for the New York Yankees, and that's what fans want to see. That's what I want to see from this team. I want to see that life. But some earlier news, if you guys don't see our YouTube shorts or Instagram or our TikTok, we broke down that DJ LeMahieu has been DFA'd from the New York Yankees. He is no longer on the roster. He could be a free agent. Anybody could sign him now. The Yankees owe him $22 million. So, the thing with DJ LeMahieu was, yeah, he was hitting better. He was playing well, but we wanted Jazz Chisholm at second base all along because when you compare them from the metrics from the left side of the infield when Jazz is playing third, and you have Volpe at short, compared to when you have Peraza at third and Volpe at short, and you have Jazz at second, the defense is so much better. It's so much smoother, and I don't know. It felt like whenever I see a ground ball that's hit to Jazz Chisholm, it feels like him and Volpe always, miscommunicate the play, and either Jazz is going in front of Volpe for the grounder, or vice versa. Now we don't have to worry about that. So now we got Jazz back at second. DJ LeMahieu's gone. I don't know if I've said it on the channel, but I feel like that was a move that should have been done a while ago because DJ LeMahieu didn't really have a role. And you don't want to have a $22 million bench bat, right? You don't want to see that. Boone had some interesting comments on it, like it's a challenge physically. I don't know if that was the right wording from Aaron Boone, but DJ LeMahieu was not happy about the decision. And obviously, he has a right to not be happy because, he's on a team that has playoff aspirations, World Series aspirations. He wants to be a part of that, and when you get cut like that, and kind of a random situation, I don't think fans kind of expected it. I think there was some theories that maybe he could get cut if they're bringing in a third baseman, who we are going to talk about a little bit later in this video, but DJ LeMahieu, I think he was doing a workout or something, or there was something about it, and I guess they called him in and said, "Hey DJ, we're going in a different direction," and he was pissed off about it. But like I said, when you're on a team that has good vibes, maybe not 2 weeks ago ish, in the month of June and the start of July, vibes were not very good. But now Jazz is back at second, and I do like the move a lot. But, getting more into the Mariners series now, their pitching is quite solid. I mean, even last night, that crazy comeback that the New York Yankees had, Brian Wu was, 7 shutout innings for the, shutting the Yankees down, player after player. They didn't get a hit till Jazz started that off. Wells has a huge 2-run single. Judge with the sacrifice fly to win it. Anthony Volpe with a great slide. I mean, say what you want, hate him or love him. That was a difference of a slide. I mean, he thought he was going to get the left hand in, and he switches to his right hand and gets past the tag of Cal Raleigh, who, by the way, coming into the series, there was a lot of hype, right? Cal Raleigh, MVP candidate, Aaron Judge, the front runner to win the MVP again for the AL. But man, Cal Raleigh, 1 for 11 the Yankees held him. They did a really good job, and the only hit he had was a home run in the first game of the series. The rest of that, Cam Schlitter, locked him down. Marcus Stroman didn't allow any damage. So that's really good to limit a guy like Cal Raleigh from potentially taking over a game. They held Judge to 3 for 12, so he had, 250 batting average against the Mariners. Brian Wu was able to get Judge a few times, but overall, they held Judge to a 250 batting average, 1 home run, and a walk-off sacrifice fly. Cal Raleigh, a .91 batting average, just 1 hit, and that was in Game 1. So, and plus even in the game, Judge wasn't having a great game in Game 3. We're gonna mainly discuss, because that was probably the game of the year. I think that's definitely a game of the year candidate. But also, a few people have talked about it. Michael K has talked about it. People in the booth of Yes have talked about it. But the play that Cody Bellinger made against the New York Mets, some viewed it honestly as like a momentum changing play, and it was a really solid play. To get Lindor out from the lineup from Juan Soto. So maybe the Yankees can start to really build up this win streak. So far, it's at 4 games. They got the Cubbies now, which is a very, very good team. The Cubbies are one of my favorite teams in the NL to watch. I mean, PCA, Pico Armstrong, Seiya Suzuki, Kyle Tucker, all of those guys, Nico Horner, all of those players, Michael Busch even, who I thought was going to make the All-Star game, did not. But it's been really, really solid to watch this series against the Mariners. Cubbies are going to be a tough team. And also, speaking of that upcoming series, Max Fried is no longer on the active All-Star roster. They removed him to put Carlos Rodon. Not really sure the reasoning yet. I'd have to look more into it. Gonna have to figure out Twitter or anything like that. Maybe I'll have it on the screen for you guys of why Max Fried is not going to the All-Star game. If I had to take a guess, he doesn't want to throw. It makes sense. I mean, you don't want to waste your arm in the All-Star game. Or he just, was unavailable. I'm not really sure. It would have been nice to see Max Fried represent the Yankees, but Carlos Rodon's been good this year for the Yankees. He's been a player that I've watched over a lot this year, of a player that needed to have a good season, right? And he's had that. He's had a good season, in my opinion. He definitely deserves All-Star recognition. But let's get into the big news. That's probably what everyone is tuning into this video for. And it's the big news from Jeff Passan. One of the best in the business when it comes to MLB reporting. And he has listed Eugenio Suárez as the best match for the New York Yankees at the trade deadline. He thinks that the Yankees, have the potential to get a deal done to send Eugenio Suárez, a third baseman from the Arizona Diamondbacks, to the Bronx. And that would be a huge addition for this offense. Defensively, he's just average, a little bit below average, but the Yankees would make that move for getting an elite bat, because Oswald Peraza's bat is obviously nowhere near Eugenio Suárez's bat, and Suárez can hit. He hits from the right side, he hits for power, and that's what the Yankees could use, more power in this lineup, and that would also just solidify an amazing infield. I mean, you got Paul Goldschmidt / Ben Rice at first base, you got Jazz Chisholm at second, Volpe at short, and then Eugenio Suárez at third, and then whoever pitchers on the mound, and then Austin Wells behind the plate. Who's had, honestly, Austin Wells has been playing some better baseball as of late. Say what you want about the average, but the OPS is there, the defense is there, and he's been putting the ball in play, and was one of the main reasons why they won that final game in the Mariners series. But also he noted, Jeff Passan noted, that the Yankees could potentially have a package deal. He refers to it as a 2 birds of 1 stone, because the Yankees need starting pitching, relief pitching, and the third baseman. So the Yankees could potentially have a deal in place that would send both Eugenio Suárez and Zach Gallen / Merrill Kelly to the New York Yankees. Now, the big question for Eugenio Suárez is, what type of asking price are the Diamondbacks going to, ask for? Are they going to ask for George Lombard? Are they going to ask for Spencer Jones? Are they even going to ask for a guy like Cam Schlitter, who just had an amazing start against the Seattle Mariners? So it seems like, according to Max Goodman, that the Yankees would have to give up a prospect like Cam Schlitter or Spencer Jones in return. Now, that's not coming from Jeff Passan. That's not coming from Ken Rosenthal. It's coming from Max Goodman, another source. But to me, I don't know if the Yankees would need to give up Spencer Jones or George Lombard. I don't think Brian Cashman would be willing to do that, in my opinion, because of the hype of just what those players have been offering lately. Whether it's George Lombard, he's been okay in the minor leagues. He's been getting better. Spencer Jones has looked better at the plate. He's looked fantastic, might I add, with a few home runs, a few RBIs, pretty good stuff. And then Cam Schlitter, we saw what he just did. I mean, the fastball running up to 100 miles an hour to get Cal Raleigh on strikes. The guy's stuff was pretty good. It's a little wild at times, but that's for any young guy who, throws hard. But, my take on this, of course, Peraza can't be the everyday starter. He just can't. Now, maybe they ship off Peraza in a Eugenio Suárez deal. But the prospects, it's going to be interesting what Brian Cashman has to offer. And his deals lately, in my opinion, have been good. I mean, the Devin Williams trade, it's starting to trend upwards. I think Yankee fans are starting to see what type of Devin Williams they're getting now. The Cody Bellinger deal has been fantastic. In my opinion, Cody Bellinger, I'll throw the stats on the screen. He's been really good. Now he's had a 16-game hitting streak heading into the Cubs series. He saved it in the Mariners series with a 9th-inning single. So, yeah, it opens up the door for Brian Cashman to make deals. And I'm not saying Eugenio Suárez is the only guy that Brian Cashman is looking at. He's definitely looking at a potential starter. Now, I'm not a big Zach Gallen fan this season. He has struggled this season with the home run ball and everything. So it's going to be interesting of what type of pitcher the Yankees are going to get. I think I mentioned Jake Bird a few weeks ago from the Colorado Rockies. I'd maybe look at even, some other teams, right, that are going to potentially be sellers, like the Cleveland Guardians, like other teams. I'm a little bit shocked with the Cleveland Guardians season. They lost Josh Naylor, yes, for their first baseman and brought in Santana. But in my opinion, I thought this Guardians team was going to be still a good team. But it's Detroit Tigers, and it's probably going to be that for the rest of the season, as they have one of the best records in baseball. But on the other hand, I think the AL is still very open. And in terms of the NL, that's why I think Suárez is going to be a potential trade piece for the Diamondbacks, because they're not good, the Diamondbacks, this season. The only team that is below them in their division is the Colorado Rockies, who have 22 wins on the season, 72 losses. And that's not going to cut it, obviously. We all know everything about the Colorado Rockies, but it comes down to what the Diamondbacks want to do. Now, getting back to the Yankees, I do think if they do acquire Eugenio Suárez, it's a big move, and obviously I think it does make you the AL favorites, in my opinion, outside of the Detroit Tigers. I think those two teams are the favorites to be an AL representative for the World Series. Now, the good thing about the Yankees, but also the bad thing, we'll get into the bad first, is that they're 10-16 against the AL East this season. They have not played well at all against them. They have a series coming up soon against Toronto again. So that's going to be interesting how that series plays out. We know how it played out in the previous series. George Springer took over that series. And the Yankees are 2 games back of the Toronto Blue Jays after the Blue Jays just lost. They're 10-5 against the AL Central. We know their success against the AL Central, even dating back to the playoffs last season. And they're 16-6 against the West. And the only team they're going to have to worry about most likely is going to be the Houston Astros. They seem like they're going to make the playoffs. It's insane to me how the Astros make the playoffs with the players that are exported, if that's the right word, that are they bring out, they bring in, and they take out. They lose Kyle Tucker. They lose Jeremy Pena to an injury. It's impressive, I have to say. Some of the players that have left the Houston Astros got their bag, and and you'd think Houston, all right, that's it. They just traded Kyle Tucker. But Seattle, Texas, the Angels, Athletics, they just can't seem to find the algorithm to defeat the Houston Astros in the AL West. But, like I said, they got they got a series against the Chicago Cubs upcoming. Chicago 6-4 in their last 10, and good for a plus 124 run differential, which is very good. One of the best in baseball. Getting back to Zach Gallen real quick, and kind of why I'm a little optimistic and also a little bit concerned for him. 7 earned runs allowed against the Colorado Rockies. I didn't watch the game, but he allowed 7 earned runs to the worst team in baseball, and then 5 earned runs against the Chicago White Sox. That's a little concerning. Now, if they acquire Zach Gallen, maybe Matt Blake can turn him into a decent pitcher and do his little magic that he does on his pitchers. Because I gotta say, some of the pitchers that the Yankees acquire, Matt Blake does a phenomenal job with them. Notable a start from Merrill Kelly, another Diamondbacks pitcher. 7 innings pitched, 1 earned run against the San Diego Padres. So I think if you'd have to take the two, you'd rather have Kelly. Here are some names outside of Eugenio Suárez. I'm not saying that they're going to be Yankees, but there have been some names, some big names. I mean, Emmanuel Clase, closing pitcher for the Guardians, is potentially shopped out. A team like the New York Yankees could look for Emmanuel Clase. I don't think they're going to get him. I don't. But he's a potential piece. I think the Phillies are going to be definitely in on Emmanuel Clase if you want to see another team potentially acquire them. Seth Lugo, another pitcher, has been linked to the Houston Astros, actually, so potentially a Kansas City trade with the Houston Astros. Duran Duran, according to Jeff Passan, the best fit. Who else but the Los Angeles Dodgers? And Jake Bird is one of my players that you could potentially buy low on him. See what you got in Jake Bird. I mean, he's from the Rockies, so I don't think a huge trade is going to be having to happen. But to wrap up this video, of course, the Yankees need pitching. They are 52-41. That is good for second place. They own a 3.69 rotation ERA. That is good for 8th in the MLB. But their bullpen owns a 4.11 ERA, which is good for 20th in the MLB. So anyways, guys, that is going to do it for this podcast. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, follow us on TikTok, follow us on the Instagram, and don't forget, we are 1 follower away, 1 subscriber for 300 subscribers. You guys have been giving us amazing support on the YouTube Reels. The TikTok has been blowing up. We've hit over 1,500 followers on the TikTok. So thank you for that. Thank you for everything. And of course, let's go Yankees. And of course, like I said, road to 300 subs. Let's do it, baby. See ya.